All right, you're welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily, and we're still on the news review segment, going through the topics that are making waves in the nation. And remember that you're also part of this show, so feel free to join it at any time. Send your messages, your comments, your thoughts, your questions to any of the panelists via the WhatsApp number on your screen, and then we will get to read it on the show. Don't forget to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily if you're watching us on YouTube Live, or if you are on X and just want to share your thoughts. All right, so let's get straight into it. So our next topic is on the fight against corruption. I'm still going to be reading from the Daily Graphic, and this is page 20. There's an article here. OSP removes former finance minister from wanted list. We all know that the former finance minister was on the wanted list of the OSP. If you checked out their website some days ago, even as at yesterday, he was on it, but it has been removed. And let us check out why it has been removed. The special prosecutor Kisi Ajabeng has removed the former Minister of Finance Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta from its list of wanted persons. The special prosecutor explained that the former finance minister had, through his lawyers, stated a definite date of his voluntary return to acceded that Mr. Ofori-Atta's request. A statement signed by the special prosecutor has revealed. The OSP said it's deemed as reasonable in the circumstance Mr. Ofori-Atta's stated date of voluntary return to the jurisdiction. Reschedule. The statement added that the special prosecutor has rescheduled the date of Mr. Ofori-Atta's attendance at the OSP, taking into account his stated date of voluntary return to the jurisdiction. Consequently, Mr. Ofori-Atta has been removed from the OSP list of wanted persons, and the OSP ceases to consider Mr. Ofori-Atta a fugitive from justice pending his voluntary return to the jurisdiction circa his stated date. And there is more on that on page 20 of the Daily Graphic. So let's just get straight into the conversation. Loretta, I'm going to be starting with you. What message does this actually send about the effectiveness of Ghana's anti-corruption effort?
Chris? Corruption is something that deprives all of us of what, as citizens of the country, we should benefit. And for someone like me who comes from a very deprived part of the country, it's a big deal for me.
Right.
Anyone who is taught or is alleged or has shortchanged this country in any way has to answer.
Okay.
Especially if the person put themselves up to serve our dear nation. And by that decision to make our nation better. But you don't fight corruption with corruption. What was the rush in declaring Mr. Ofori-Atta as a fugitive? How can you be in touch with a fugitive? Maybe we need to be educated, because it's mind-boggling that in one breath
you reached out to him.
An individual you reached out to the person.
Right.
They've done same, communicated to you by the same mode that you communicated with them. Then you come out and declare the person wanted, a fugitive from justice. I don't think, and you see, some of these things go further. Yesterday when this letter came out, I read it a number of times and I was asking myself, what was the rush? If the one supposed to champion corruption for us, doesn't take due diligence serious, then what are we fighting? It's just because a day before or the night before you came out to make that dramatic statement, the person of interest house was invaded. So suddenly, the businessman can lead a pack of security men to invade a citizen's property. And we may think that because we have our own issues with Mr. Ofori-Atta, it should happen to him. It could be any of us. Just because you made the decision to serve your country. If he's done anything untoward, if he's shortchanged this country in any way, he has to answer. But there are rules and procedures. And the special prosecutor, who has been a law lecturer, I wonder how his students will be feeling. Is this what he taught his students? Come on. We need to be very blunt on some of these things. How does he feel? Why didn't he give this letter the same prominence he gave it as when he was declaring him as a fugitive? All media houses were capturing it. And obviously, some media houses will cover it for the sake of national interest. But definitely there will be some cost to it. Whose cost is that? It's the cost of citizens of this country, because the office of the special prosecutor is funded by our taxes. And this is not his first. So I don't know. It's difficult to comprehend that a man who says, I'm receiving care in a hospital.
Yeah.
They've given you the name of the hospital. It's not hidden. It's not on Mars or any other planet. It's on Earth. You couldn't do due diligence. You couldn't verify. When cases not even at this level, you traveled all the way outside this country to get information that we are still waiting to know. So I think that this outrightly is condemnable. And I think that he should have given it the same prominence he gave the declaration. This is unfair to Mr. Ofori-Atta, no matter what he has done. No citizen in this country, no matter the crime they've committed, and every individual is not guilty. Constitution. That is why his office was set by an act of parliament. It wasn't just set on the whims and caprices of any individual who does. So he needs to do it. And I'm still wondering. I've read a few of the reports that he's published. I haven't seen what he saved this nation in the almost 4 years that he's been special prosecutor. But if this is how he's going to operate, then we have a problem. I don't think you fight corruption with corruption, and the special prosecutor, being a lawyer of his level, should know better. Right.
So, what are your thoughts about, how he went about things? I mean, from what Laratu have said, one will also question that if you were in touch with this person that you tagged a fugitive, why were you in a rush to put his name out as on the wanted list when you are in touch with him?
Yeah, thank you. Chris, I don't know if the letter that he will be back next month was given to the special prosecutor before his press conference or after. But from what I believe or what I know is if you tell someone indefinite, it can be tomorrow. It can be never. So, me, I don't like this Rambo style of doing things. You see, the IGP has never been I'm not a fan of him. The reason being that those all jumping all around, staging things. I am not a fan of them. And this man seems to be one of them. Because when you look at Cicely Adapa's issue.
Which one? OSP?
Yes.
Okay.
Jumping all over the place. You brought nothing. Up till now. We didn't see the head or tail of that issue. And so if he started this thing on this note, for me, I was not enthused too much. I was like, so he couldn't have done this thing without all those fanfare around it. Because if you're looking for someone, you want to declare him a fugitive, the courts can do it without all this noise or wanting you to be seen as working, or you are on top of the issues and all that, to the point that you even told some people they are even being investigated. When the people are saying that you've not even written to them, you've not called them, they don't even know about what you are talking. Yeah. So it's like, so I at a point when I sat down and thought of the whole thing, is it giving these people lead to run away, or is it giving them a lead to find a way of going around this whole issue if the investigation pops up? Because I don't see the head and tail of this whole thing. Seriously. Me, like I said, because of the way IGP was doing his things, though I don't hate him, but me, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like those things. When you are working, let your results prove it. Let people see that ABCD was done. And this is what we got out of it. But running all over the place, doing this and all that. But you see, when I also hear people running, saying, why should a man go through this and all that? Is it above the law? With which it's Ofori-Atta above the law.
I don't think it's an issue of being above the law, but I think it's an issue of doing things more diplomatically, doing things in better ways, like she was saying, instead of just going out there and declaring him wanted.
Yeah, I told you, I'm not even.
Yes, exactly.
But the question is, I asked first question, did the letter come before that press conference, or it was after?
Yeah.
Maybe it was after, and I think it's a good thing, because at least he's heard something and he has responded to it. His lawyer said he was going for an indefinite treatment. And some people, when you go to social media, some of the things are nasty. It's not even, how can you say if someone is going for an indefinite treatment, it means coughing? All those things, for me as a Ghanaian, I don't think is the best. If someone is found wanting when it comes to the law, there are a lot of ways to deal with those people. And he's also not above the law. And look, we have precedents in this country. You see, MPP will always set precedents, and they will come back and tell you that we shouldn't do it this way because now it's against them. But when it was for them, you see them having everything to give you excuses. Look, Victor Salome died in jail because of some of these things. We saw people being chased in their churches. The likes of the Chachuchikates and the rest. Airports, you see the national security waiting for people because they heard that they were coming. Victor Salome was outside taking treatment.
Right.
But he has to come back because of some of these things. So why don't he also come back? Exactly. If you want to put some of these things to rest, come and prove your name. He was arrested, he was jailed. His lawyers even told the court that the man has to go outside back. He will stand in for surety for him because he was having something, he was having
health issues.
Yes, so that he will come back. According to his lawyer, Frimpong Boate, who was the head of cardiology then, said no, he can take the treatment here. Why is it that he went outside to take treatment? Forgetting that the man was outside on a national assignment when he had a heart attack. And so he had to go through treatment there. Right. And so whatever it was, he has to follow up there. They refused him till this man died. Do you understand? So some of these things, they shouldn't even go there. Because when you do that, then you want to bring out all the pain in people. Things that people want to forget. As if there's some special breed of people. And now, the last time I was watching TV, I don't even want to go there. You know, this certain class of people and all that, popping up now in our conversation as politicians or communicators. And I'm like, whoa, when did this start? Some people feel that they have certain class and so they should be treated differently from others. No. Me, I don't like OSP's way of
style of doing things.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't also think that because you were there because of this, so you should be treated differently from the way you treated someone.
Right.
The former president was the attorney general then. And the kind of things he took people through in this country, we all saw it. A fast-track court was created just to make sure that former appointees of the NDC were jailed. And Ofori-Atta decided that for him, they shouldn't clear him. He will go through the process and clear his name. And he did it. At least the law found him not guilty. And he's happy with that. Rather than saying that he was given amnesty or he was asked to go or cleared, oh, it's okay, go and sleep. No. Because some of them did nothing wrong, causing financial loss to the state. Causing where he didn't take a pin from the office where he served. But he made certain decisions that might not have gone well. And it happens when it comes to business life.
Yeah.
Yes, we understand. We have to take responsibilities for everything. And so if it's someone's time for accountability, you want to give us excuses? You want to tell us that people are not being treated well? Look, people's houses were raided with kids in the house with guns. Children are traumatized even as we speak because in this country we don't even have psychologists and all those working on our kids. So people grow up with a whole lot of things. Look, when you get close to most of our young girls, you'll be shocked. The kind of things some of them have gone through, and because they didn't get any proper psychological treatment, they grew up with it. People go into their marriages with some kind of mentality. And all that. So please, I am not saying that whatever happened then should repeat itself. I'm happy it is not coming from the Attorney General. It's coming from an office they created, thinking that they were going to use it against the NDC then. Unfortunately, when it's now going against them, they are crying. The OSP, some of the issues, the Attorney General said that when they were drawing some of these things, he told them that it's like usurping the powers of the Attorney General. But they didn't listen because they were in power. They thought it could be good for them. Now that the thing is going against you, the account says that, oh, you're a phone, sir. I don't know if you know what a phone is. You know, monkeys look like human beings.
Yes.
So when you are chewing the monkey, the fingers of the monkey, then you should know that it looks like human. So it could be you.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we are doing things and we think that this thing is going against my sister, so let me do it well and do it hard. Then when it starts going against you, you start crying wolf.
Oh.
MPP, please. Ofori-Atta is not above the law. Fito Salome died in jail.
Wait.
I wasn't born, or probably wasn't this enlightened or politically aware by virtue of my age.
Okay.
So when my mothers and my fathers and uncles talk about coups, I listen to it because I don't have experience in that regard. There's a lot of history we've heard as relatively younger people from pre-constitutional regime, all the coups. We've heard things like people being given identification haircuts and all that. History, most of the time, is subjective.
Okay.
It's from the perspective of the person who is telling the history. Because we are human. We don't see everything at the same time like God does. You see from your angle, the other person sees from their angle. You mentioned a former minister, Mr. Salome. May he rest in peace. He had children. They have their perception of what happened to their dad. They will grow up with that thinking. Do you think it is fair to their grandchildren to also have that energy in them? Why do we call ourselves Muslims and Christians? We go to church. We go to the mosque. Forgiveness is preached. All those things are preached. We've moved from all that era. During President Kufuor's time, I remember there was a reconciliation committee set up. I can't talk about pre-constitutional rule era, but at least I have a fair idea of what has happened from 1992 till date. From 1992 till date, the MPP has done 16 years, the NDC has done 16 years. How long do we want to continue this vicious cycle? Is it fair to us? Is it fair to generations? It wasn't right then. It's not right today. And I've also maintained one thing. A lot of things were done that were wrong. Even after elections, as a government that has lost elections, you sit down and you review some of the things. And you tell yourself certain things could have been done better. What didn't the OSP do to Madam Cecilia Dapa? A whole convoy and all the theatrics. Wasn't it the same OSP appointed by the former regime, appointed by President Akufo-Addo, that cleared President Mahama of the tag of government official one? So what are we talking about here? If it's wrong, it's wrong. We may have our own issues with Mr. Ofori-Atta. Yeah. We may not be happy with some of the decisions he took. We may not be happy with what he did to certain people. But is this how we want accountability to be? We can talk. My mother, when you see my mother, apart from maybe the resemblance, my mother is fairer than Awu. We used to live in Ahafomem then, a businesswoman who used to come to Kumasi to buy her wares to go and sell in. She was lashed at a barrier. Why? Because she looked like a minister's wife. Should I bear that as a grudge against anyone? It's not fair. It's not good. But that anger, who does it destroy? It destroys me, not the person who perpetuated that anger. Their conscience alone should deal with them.
Right.
You get it? So how long? But I always say that at this time in our democracy, in our quest to fight corruption, we have a president who has been part of it all. Does he want to follow the same vicious cycle, or he wants to change and give meaning to democracy in this country? That is up to them to decide. Okay, that's a very good one. That's a very good way to end it. But thank you so much, Laratu Musa Saka, MPP Communications Team Member, Awo Edubia Kekeli, National Communications Team Member, for NDC. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we also have a message from Nana Bawa. Good morning. Thanks for the segment on Breakfast Daily. The assets declarations is a joke. The appointment officials should produce documents to support their assets. Examples like house, land, vehicles, bank accounts, etc. And I think that's all in the envelope. And also, I want to say a very big thank you to you for joining us this morning on this segment. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have more right here on Breakfast Daily.